The finance industry is of course fueled by data, but the data's real power is in telling often hidden stories that when revealed can deliver huge benefits. Whether that's managing performance, assessing risk or interpreting human behaviour, it's important that companies know how to capture it, assess it and then act on it. Mirador Solutions Consultancy brings that focus and has the power to combine data and technology. I spoke to their CEO and Managing Director. Let's start with the overview. Why is data so fundamental?
Ultimately, data is fundamental to any business because without data, a business can't function. So data is the backbone of a business. It fundamentally is the lifeblood of a business and they need data to inform their decision making.
I suppose that's not a surprise to people, but it's the hidden stories that are hidden within the data that you're able to tease out.
Yeah, exactly that. I mean, our experience of all different types of data through different use cases means that we're able to apply our knowledge and hopefully help businesses make the most of it.
So why, when we're talking to pension funds and asset owners, is that data story so important?
Ultimately, pension schemes, asset owners, they effectively are data-hungry organisations and they are built on data. So, them being able to consume the right data and the right quality of data allows them to be making informed decisions around their businesses.
We're an asset management company. We started in 2008 and we trade insurance risk. So we have two distinct product streams. We have natural catastrophes, so tsunamis, earthquakes, floods, wildfires. And we also trade life risk, so morbidity, mortality, longevity. And we now have about $5 billion assets under management spread across 10 funds and a number of managed accounts.
I assume yours is a business that relies heavily on data and interpreting data. So tell me, how has Mirador helped you do that?
Mirador were instrumental in emphasising that data should be seen as a major asset of a business. Not just something you have to manipulate or process, but it is your asset. Without that data and without the golden source of the data, then you can't really do what you want to do. And they were instrumental in identifying the strategy to improve the data discipline, to help us streamline the processing to reduce operational risk, and so we can deliver the reporting that our investors need, require, want. So they're a very important business partner to the organisation.
Of course, technology is so important to gathering this data. How important is it then that people understand the relationship between good technology and good data?
Well, as you say, they're both important. So one has to speak to the other. And often, traditionally, what we've seen is that technology stood at the forefront and data's taken a back seat. So what we're trying to do is encourage our clients and the industry to make sure that if they have a technology strategy, they also pay attention to have a data strategy and the two things interoperate.
Can you explain then how good data can help pension funds hold large asset managers to account?
In a variety of ways. I mean, one of the ways we see a lot is actually outsourcers. So a lot of the industry outsource key services to other suppliers. So good data, as an example, can actually help you manage things like key performance indicators or KPIs and make sure that the job you're asking them to do is done well and sufficiently.
So when we look at good governance and stewardship, data's right at the centre of that?
Yeah, it's core because ultimately it allows better control and it allows the stakeholder or the pension fund manager themselves to actually drive those decisions at the right time in the right place and ultimately achieve better outcomes for the pensioner themselves.
So just lastly, let's have a little look to the future. Look in your crystal ball, if you like. Technology is changing rapidly. The amount of data available to people is increasing dramatically. What do you think are the future trends that people should be looking out for?
Certainly the AI element and having LLM models within a business around what they want to do with the data, but in order to do something with that data through a large language model, they've got to be able to trust the quality of data that they're using. So there's that element. I think security around data is really important. As the sort of information security landscape changes and businesses are at risk of more complex attacks, then securing that data and recognizing it as an asset and the right security around it is critical to drive their opportunities.
So there are new technologies that are going to start to help firms get their hands on data, but ultimately having a clear strategy, clear accountability and roles dedicated to data is where we see the gap at the moment.
Gareth Cocks, CEO, George Watson, Managing Director of Mirador Solutions Consultancy. Thank you very much.